Welcome to your Wednesday Wisdom. Today is May 24th, 2017. My name is Marty Hicks, and my website is helloextraordinarylife.com. The calls are posted on there, too. If you have not checked out the website, I put it as insider calls. It may change eventually, but I know we're doing the inside work, which was where that name came from, the insider calls. And I also will post them here on Loving Yourself from the Inside Out on Facebook, and they'll come in email if you are on my email list. So somewhere you'll get this recording again if you want to listen again, and if you're here, awesome, you don't have to do that either. But they are recorded for that reason. I am a relationship coach, and I call myself that because our primary relationship is with ourselves. I do relationship coaching with couples, but I always think of my relationship with me as first and foremost, and it's the most important, which is I kind of grappled about, what do I call myself? Am I a life coach? I'm really a relationship coach with me, which is the name came out of Loving Yourself from the Inside Out. That's how that all came to be. Thank you all for being here today. I sit with, what am I going to talk about on the call? Every week, what am I going to talk about? Monday comes, and I want to put something out, share a little something with it, and what am I going to talk about? And then I get present to something that shows up, or I hear something. And I think of when something shows up in my world and I'm not present to what's happening, I call it an app. Like on our phone, we all have technology, so on our phones we have apps that run in the background. Well, sometimes I have an app that runs in my background. And that's what I got present to, because I had some stuff showing up, and I thought, what is going on with me? That's where the name came from. What's the app in your background? We all do this. We all have them show up. Somewhere along this journey, I realized that there are two primary emotions. Just two, love or fear. We can categorize everything beneath those two columns, love or fear. We're either in love or we're in fear, and they cannot coexist. So the app that I'm talking about, and I qualify it like that because I'm either in love or I'm in fear. My app that's running usually is coming from fear. It's usually something showing up that happened, that's gotten me triggered, and I'm not aware of it. I'm just seeing some of the behaviors. So I'm sharing this today in a hope to give you some information, a new way to look at something, and also just take a look at your own app, like what's running in your background, or what's just popping up. Sometimes it's like a malware that shows up on our screen, it pops up, and I get to choose to click it or not. And hopefully I don't, because I've seen those. I've clicked them before. And they're hard to get rid of. So the app in the background, I see it as behavior that's showing up, something I'm doing, some language I'm speaking. My language is usually the F-bomb is coming out of my mouth. And I recognize that I got some anger going on, and I don't know why sometimes. I'm hearing it. I get a little notice. Here's your red flag. Something's up. When I get resentful, it'll come out sideways in sarcasm, little snarky comments, little snide remarks, getting little digs in. I'm going to use my mom as my example because I've been having mom stuff coming up. And since I'm talking about it, I'm guessing maybe y'all have some mom stuff, some deeper layers of mom stuff showing up. I get triggered by something that someone might say that reminds me of her. Something she said to me, words she's used, the tone she used. Lou sometimes says something that didn't land well. He usually says that about my dad, though. He's not mom. I don't really recognize in the moment that it happens, I just start seeing my behavior is different. And I'm like, what the hell? One day somebody said something to me recently, and it was really condescending and really just, I felt like she was talking down to me. I asked her a question. She said something back to me. It didn't land right. It didn't land well for me. I didn't get it in the moment. I simply answered her question back. Conversation ended. But now I've gotten triggered. I've gotten some app that's running in my background. It turned on when that incident happened. And all I could see was that it just pinged. You know, you just get that little hit and you go, what? Not really sure what that is. Not really sure why it landed that way. But I have a charge around it. And now I'm seeing my behaviors. I'm seeing in my language. I'm seeing when I talk about her that I'm angry and I'm resentful, and I'm like, And I look back, I start tracking back to uncover. Because it's not only coming out to Lou, it's coming out around other people who are triggering that same thing. Somebody else says something. I'm getting triggered. I'm like, now I'm getting irritated and frustrated because I know that I'm triggered and I can't quite see what it is. I finally trace it back to what happened. And I didn't deal with it in the moment because I really didn't know exactly what it was. I just knew that it hit for me. And I think this happens to a lot of us, that we, in the moment, something doesn't feel right, and we're like, I'm not really sure what that is. And it takes, hopefully not super long. Today it's moments or a day instead of weeks for me. But talking with my friend, she's stressed out. She says this thing. I go, okay, she's became my mom. That mom stuff just does not go away. The app is triggered, it's running, and I'm looking because I'm starting to see. Underneath all that obvious stuff, that I'm angry, I felt like she talked down to me and had all this reaction to it. But the app underneath it all, the app that's actually running, I'm stupid, I'm not enough, I didn't do it right, whatever any of those labels might be. But I'm seeing it. And I'm feeling it. And I'm like, So now I know where it got triggered. And I get to decide what to do about it. And I recognize it's my mom stuff. It's how she spoke to me may or may not be appropriate, but it's certainly not about her. It's the only thing it's about is that I got triggered and something deeper of that app that says, you're not enough. You didn't say the right thing. And no matter what you do, it's not the right thing. Now I see it showing up with other people. Somebody else says something to me. And the next person says something to me. And I have that same feeling. And I'm like, I have a trucker mouth sometimes, so those words start coming out. I'm like, okay, let's do some writing. Let's take a look at what is it. In that incident, I decided that she became my mom, and I get to take care of that for myself. Now I'm prepared that when or if it happens again, I can, if I need to, I can say something in the moment. But for now, I've let that go because I started to recognize what was really going on. I can actually talk about her without being charged and angry. That's how I know that I've let it go. I'm also present enough to know that when we have another conversation, I'm certain it'll show up again. Because it was her stuff triggering my stuff, and I'll get to handle it in the moment, or I may just simply recognize that it has nothing to do with me. And it's her. And I can let that go and move on. It's my choice. It's all of our choice about how we want to handle it. It was important for me to recognize, as for all of us, that when our behaviors are showing up, coming out, and I'm getting triggered, you're getting triggered, you're irritated, to take a look at what's the root, what's underneath it, because those behaviors and those attitudes are revealing something. And once I can see what that is, I have an opportunity then to decide how I want to handle it, decide how I want to handle it going forward, and heal my own heart and my own deeper layers of stuff around my mom. They just keep showing up. It's an endless deep stuff. I'm looking for that place of, I'd love to just be neutral, but I'm not there yet. I am complete right there. I'm going to unmute you and give you an opportunity to share how that was for you. Did you get something out of it? How does that show up in your world? Okay.
Yes, it shows up in my world. I've got a couple of situations in my life right now that I'm recognizing. Well, yeah, I've got things that are happening that trigger me, and I was thinking about them earlier this morning and realized, oh, well, I react like that because it makes me feel goodness. And so it's another layer of my working okay, why do I not feel good enough? That's ridiculous. So, and then tracing it back, like you said, Marty, to the things earlier in life that put me down or made me feel like I wasn't good enough.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know enough. So it's what you said. It's helping me see, okay, stop and think this through. Stop and see, okay, next time this gets triggered, how do I want to respond instead of react? Handle it better. And how do I want to work through that? Okay, why did it make me feel like I'm not good enough? When if I stop and think about it, I'm very good enough.
Mm-hmm. Yes. You are good enough. Who's just joined?
Hi, this is Laura, Marty. I'm so sorry. I forgot about it this morning until just a few minutes ago. I thought, should I call? I don't want to interrupt you guys. I got your email last night.
I'm glad. Good. I'm glad you made it, and you'll get to hear people sharing about what I was talking about, and then if you choose, you can listen to the recording again and catch the piece that you missed.
Yeah, thank you. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I'm glad you made it.
Thanks.
Anybody else want to share? Anybody else just want to share what you got out of that? Doesn't have to be anything personal.
This is Susan, Susan N. Marty, you hit the nail right on the head. If something either gets triggered or something definitely gets triggered. When I journal, when I talk to other like-minded people, when I just sit silent, meditate or connect with God, the answer, the awareness will come to me about where this is actually coming from anyway. And it always points back to the past. It's always pointing back to the past. But I'm finding that more and more as more and more as I'm aware of it, becoming aware of it, and like you said, either responding instead of reacting about situations, because boy, they'll just boom, just hit me just like that. But I'm finding more and more, because I'm getting more aware of it, the power's going out. The power's going out of it, and I'm finding that when things do happen, because they will, they have less and less of an impact on me than they would have a while back. So it's like, yeah, this is happening again, but it's not near the effect. It's not near the impact on me that it was in the very recent past, just by paying attention and talking to people like you and learning. So yeah, it just hit. It just totally hit. Yep, it's from the past, usually from the mother, and then I realized something last week. I was walking along. I've been kind of slothful lately, except for the past few days. But I'm walking along and I think, oh, you're being just like your mother. She never did do anything but sit around and do nothing. I said, whoa, yeah, that's neat. So not only is it a trigger, yeah, major ouch, but also major, okay, that's enough. You know, that
good
call. Snaps me. Yeah, it's just like it's a snap right back into, okay, who am I? Who do I want to be? Not who am I just reacting to life about, but what plans do I have? What do I want? How do I want to show up? Kind of a thing. So, you hit the nail right on the head this morning. I'm giggling as I listen because it's like, yep. I agree. Anyway, enough on me.
Thanks, Susan.
This is Lisa. I agree with what Susan was just saying, and you, Marty. That app just gets going for sure. And learning how to respond instead of react. Just listening to your story, I wonder if it was an interaction between me and you. It's automatic. Like, oh, shit. Because me and you have been through so much together. And we've got so much of the same stuff going on in our lives all the time. So,
You were a secondary trigger.
Yes, I am. And you are mine.
I was triggered the first time. I was triggered the first time by somebody else, and then you said something, and I'm like, oh, dang it, there it is again. So, yes, it did, but that was the secondary piece. So, yes. Yeah. So, anyway, I just wanted to.
But the good thing is that we make each other look at stuff, so that's the good thing about it. We are trying to reflect before we respond. And I had something like that happen last night at school. Somebody just went off on me random when all I did was ask her a question out of concern, and it's like, whoa, where did this come from? And this probably isn't mine, but wait a minute here.
Right?
Am I going to react or am I going to walk away? And then I had to look at what was going on in me. My automatic response was, oh, I want to either attack or go hide. So what is this triggering in me? And why? Mm-hmm. And it reminded me of when my mother's gone off on me years ago or reacted that way. So I chose to get up and leave last night, because the energy in the room was just really bad. So I just left. But I took care of me instead of staying stuck in that negativity being thrown at me. And I don't see it as running away, but I see it as I'm not going to participate today. Mm-hmm. I have that choice. And all of these things you've helped me to see over and over again. You pounded stuff in my head, so it worked. and I love you for it.
It takes a lot of repetition sometimes for us to really get it.
Yeah.
Especially if we don't want to see it. It just, I know even for me, it takes repetition, sharing things and hearing them in different ways to finally really get it in my bones. I get it intellectually. I want to get it in my bones when I've really gotten it. And it takes several times, sometimes a very long time, because it's layer by layer. Right? Each time we get something, it's the next layer. We're getting it deeper and deeper. Yes, ma'am. Thank you for sharing. Anybody else want to share before we close out our time together?
This is Laura. I'll just say I appreciate you guys. I can relate to a lot of the triggering thing I've talked about with my daughter off and on, and it's important even though I joined late and I haven't been in your group before. I can relate to some of this stuff. So, it's helpful, and I agree that it's good to be aware of all that, to become more aware of those triggers and what it means from my past, and how to respond in a way that would be more helpful. If that makes sense. Anyway, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I wish I could be there with you guys face to face. Well, I guess none of you are either, right?
No. We all have met at some point, and we all know each other. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Cindy, you're awfully quiet this morning. And so is Susan.
Learning to be comfortable with the silence.
I'm happy to be a pregnant pause, but I'm just...
Well, I can, this is Susan, the other Susan. It's just, there's no mistakes. There's been a lot of stuff coming up, triggering a lot of stuff. Some of it's around, I have a child who's graduating high school and is going to be going into the Air Force, and and I have some strong feelings about all of that, and just finding myself getting triggered. Found myself during my meditation this morning as I was thinking about something else, and immediately what got triggered for me is all that. The thing that triggers for me quickly is that not good enough. Should have done it differently. Should have. What's different today is I can see that quickly and not get stuck in that momentum of going down that path again. And what I'm finding is as I become more willing in this path to do that work, more stuff is showing up to trigger more and more of it. Had to have a conversation yesterday with someone that asked me to work with them, and I had initially said yes, and then I needed to say no, and so all that stuff got triggered for me because it was like, oh, I already said yes, but I really mean no. Big part of me just wanted to pretend like he never called, and so I was able to walk through that and have that conversation with him, but I really was aware of all those emotions that got triggered behind all of that. So, yeah.
Thank you. We are a work in progress.
Exactly.
And we're never done. Darn it. If we choose. Some people choose to just stay right where they are, and they're good with that. And it's still... I'm more of the seeker like the rest of us here. So I have 9:30 straight down. Cindy, did you want to share before we depart? Anybody, if you need to go at 9:30, I scheduled it for 30 minutes. So if you need to go, please feel free. Apparently that was her. Okay. Thank you all for being here. I'll hear you again next week. And some of you before that. Yep. Have a great week. Have a great holiday.
Right.
And we'll talk soon.
All right.
Thanks, Marty. Okay. Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Marty. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye-bye.